Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Reese S225B. This is what we would call a saddle threshold. And being a saddle threshold, it's extremely common and typical. Maybe a little less so because it's more narrow than a typical saddle threshold. But it's certainly going to be even less common than just its narrower width because it's made of solid architectural bronze, or what people will call brass. This is not gold anodized, or bright tip gold anodized aluminum. This is actual solid brass is what it's called. We call it architectural bronze. It's an alloy of four materials that makes it conducive for its application, meaning it's used in weather stripping, thresholds particular, weather stripping as well, but architectural hardware in general. Let's take some basic dimensional properties and then we'll talk about what this is for. Per the drawing linked down below, the cross section, you can see that this is indeed 2.5 inch, and they've got this at 1/4 inch rise. Yeah, it makes sense. And this is in a mill finish. We're going to talk more about what that means in a moment. Let's talk about what this is for. If you are enjoying this video, please click thumbs up or like, and also please consider subscribing to our channel. Let's move on to the rest of the video. So also going with its dimensions, it is, in terms of weight, it's 0.1 pound per inch is actually what this is. So it's extremely heavy in the sense that 12 inches of this is going to be 1.2 pound. Nope, it will be, yes, 1.2 pound, 12 inches of it. 3-foot piece is going to be 3.5 pounds, so it's not light, is the bottom line. It's heavy, and the question becomes is where would you use this? You may, if you've seen this video, you might be aware of what solid architectural bronze or solid brass costs. It's expensive. It's expensive because of what the base material is. What the base material is, meaning what it provides the opening, what role it plays, and how it goes about achieving its goals, is the fact that it's extremely durable. If you are working on an opening that's going to get extreme substantial amounts of traffic, a piece of aluminum is just not going to survive. The front doors of a city hall, the Greyhound bus station, a very busy hotel, they're going to have solid bronze type products in a lot of these applications because anything else is just not going to survive. This material is extremely robust. Another reason why you might use solid bronze is because, or solid brass or architectural bronze, is because if you're building, here in Southwest Florida where we are, we can throw a stone and hit a $10 million house, it seems, in the greater area. If you're building a $10, $20 million house, you're going to use materials that are proportional to the overall scope. So, 80 feet of thresholds for the exterior custom doors, probably not using aluminum. Another reason why you might use architectural bronze is because you want the material to patina or age with exposure to the environment. This is what we call mill. This is what the material looks like when it comes from the mill. This is extruded. Think of sausage. If you crank the handle and out it comes into the casing. If you don't know what the word extruded means, this is extruded. If all they do is extrude this through the die set in this profile and leave it, it's mill. That's what it's going to be. I've had customers order mill and call me and say it's defective. It's streaky. The color's inconsistent. Yes, you ordered mill, specifically intended to age and patina with time or fatigue with time. That's why people will order this, just the same as you might order copper gutters, I suppose, because you want that look over time. That, now there's a word for it that escapes me. However, being architectural bronze, you can onto this do, well, obviously what you can do is a polished finish. Because this is solid brass, I'm sorry, I'm setting something up on a monitor. Because this is solid bronze, you can make this polished. This will be a highly polished product that they can leave, or they can apply a lacquer to. Applying a lacquer to would be very typical because you'd want to protect that polish. However, there may be an application where a hotel, five-star high-end hotel, they're going to be going back and routinely polishing all the brass, whether it be handles or whether it be thresholds. You're not going to want a lacquer in that application because that lacquer is going to have to fatigue and break away, and then you're going to have to get the rest of the lacquer off. So you may want to order it unlacquered. But if you ordered polished brass, it'll have a coat of lacquer over it. You can also do a satin finish. They can probably also, in the world of bronze threshold, satin bronze can be done as well. I don't think Reese can do that. But also oil rubbed bronze, you can do that on this as well. Because it's solid bronze, you can plate it. If you want this polished chrome plated, it can be done. This is material that can be plated. You can also powder coat this. I don't know why you would really powder coat such an expensive base material, except if you needed the absolute durability of a solid bronze threshold. Something small and petite like this is going to work in those situations where you don't have a sill condition that will tolerate a very wide threshold. You've got just a small amount of area to get a threshold installed. You need to seal against it, and this does really well. This is a 6-inch sample piece. If this was the genuine article, it would be drilled and countersunk with screw holes. Screws would be included. They too would be brass. You can specify this undrilled should you need to do that. If you have need for a custom length, by all means order the next longest piece or pieces, and that will save you the trouble of having to cut this. It's not hard in the sense of cutting it with the proper tool, but you may just not want to. I've got clients very typically, oh, I see that you have 40-inch, but I need 39 3/4. Sure, we can do that. Indicate that in the comment field, the length you want it cut, and the factory will endeavor to cut it to that size. What's nice about that is they'll give you the proper distance from each end for that first countersink and the proper center to center. Generally, you'll have one more fastener point than you do feet. So it's common to see 4 holes in a 3-foot threshold. Let's switch to the screen view and let's take a closer look at the supporting information. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Okay, here's the item that we are looking at. This is the profile on our site. Here's your dimensions. Not much to be said about this, except that it is handicap compliant for 2 reasons. It doesn't exceed the overall height. Doesn't exceed the overall height for a 90-degree angle, which this isn't anyway. And its rise over run relationship is compliant, which is 2 to 1. There is a link here called installation. This is going to be spectacular only in the amount of information that it doesn't provide. The bottom line is measure twice and cut once. You might have to cope this or notch this around an application. If you're going to do that work in the field, you'll probably want to order it long anyway so you can trim. The factory could also do L-notching. They can do coping. They're going to need a sketch, and it will not be insignificant in terms of the added cost, but they can provide that. And if you were to order the material undrilled, I like to put in here supply undrilled, but include the standard fasteners, so at least you get the fasteners. Product brochure, that's handy because this is going to show you all of the other saddle thresholds from Reese. This is just a snippet out of their full catalog. In the catalog, where you see A, that means it's mill finish over an aluminum base. When you see D, that's a dark bronze anodized over aluminum. And they don't do a lot of gold. I don't see anything here that's gold. But when you see B, that's solid architectural bronze. And then you can do it in mill or polished or oil rubbed, or probably satin. Reese may not do satin. The point being is B is the solid brass base material. Now let's look at some images that we have. That's in no particular order. That's just showing the leading edge profile of it, and that's what mill looks like. If you want an absolute finished, clean look, this is not the item that you should order. Up close view of that leading edge, showing you the mill finish again, and again, and again. I don't have any images of fasteners because none were sent with this, but probably be a number 10 by maybe 1 inch, probably 1.25 inches perhaps. Phillips flathead is what that would end up being. Now there's a link below this video as seen here to the manufacturer's page. When you click on that, you'll be able to pull up not only all of the Reese products we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but we also have a link to their website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Encyclopedic documents are here, such as the A117.1. This is a government-published standard when it comes to handicap compliance, accessible and usable buildings and facilities. If you wanted to know everything there is to know about what is permissible in a accessible designed building, this would be the governing document. It will give you all the information about rise over run, overall length for thresholds, things of that nature. There's also a video here which is really handy, and this is just the Reese finish video. As far as I'm concerned, that is probably a polished unit, not mill. It looks too nice to be mill. But you can see black and clear. Here's gold. They do some gold. That's aluminum, gold anodized over aluminum, etc. So there you go. Okie doke. Their catalog, that's worth a dive into it. I would very much recommend that you review their catalog because they have a very complete offering of weather stripping, thresholds, and all of the related products to equipping and opening with gasketing, thresholds, drip caps, perimeter gasketing, automatic door bottoms. They also do a decent job when it comes to STC rated materials. So if you're if you need to do an opening that's STC rated, and in this world of post-COVID where people became accustomed to working from home and the intolerance of lots of noise in the workplace, their new workplace, a lot of people call us and ask, what can I do to keep the noise down? So this list here on their page 7 will give you STC ratings for different items. One thing that I like about Reese a great deal, is their dark bronze. The video, I just kept the video running. It is the most faithful version of dark bronze when it comes to oil rubbed. If you're matching oil rubbed bronze hardware, their D finish is the richest. It's the one that looks nicest with oil rubbed compared to other manufacturers' dark bronze. Anyway, you can scroll through this catalog and get an idea for all of the products that they sell. They have some interlocking weather stripping, which is neat if you're really trying to tamp down the intrusion of material through an opening. You might want to look at their interlocking watershed drip cap application. Let's wrap up this video on camera. If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it. Now, in conclusion, if you have any questions on the S225B is what this is, or any other Reese product, please feel free to reach out to us. You may never have heard of Reese. Maybe you're very familiar with them. Most likely, you probably haven't heard of them or used them very often. But for me personally, they're my go-to. Here's why. Their extrusions, when you measure it with a caliper, or if you just hold it or weigh it, they always seem heavier, thicker and heavier. That's because they are thicker, therefore heavier. Heavy-duty weather stripping. Their dark bronze, to me, is the one that I would go with. Other manufacturers, it's too dark. It's bordering black. I don't want black. I want dark bronze, or I've got oil-rubbed hardware. When it comes to shipping lead times, while they have a minimum, no one can really go toe-to-toe with them when it comes to prompt, reliable, predictable shipping lead times. You may not be able to get 1,000 of something from them from stock. They don't keep exceptional quantities of things, but that is the type of order that you get once a year. When it comes to doing a really healthy quantity of openings, they're going to be able to do that. They're going to be able to do it pretty quickly. And then lastly, they're just really no-nonsense, straightforward folks that are just really easy to work with. You send them a PO and they get to work on it, and they're very agreeable, and they're happy to help, and they're very appreciative of the business, and before you know it, the stuff's arrived, and other manufacturers haven't even gotten the work out to the shop yet. So Reese may not be the name that you know, but should certainly be a company that you check out. They will not be least expensive, period. And it depends on the project. If execution of a contract is what you're obligated to do, and you've got 1,000 openings or 100 openings, they won't come in cheapest. But their material will probably ship on time, and be something that you'll be proud to have worked with. Any questions on this or any other Reese product, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.